Did you know? Just facts. "30 Just Facts." First, super robot makes sinister promises. Second, the door to hell. Third, diamond floating in our galaxy. Fourth, sun is so loud. Fifth, Oxford English Dictionary was mostly written by. Sixth, the Museum of Non-Visible Art. Seventh, 350 calories a day. Eighth, bleeding glacier. Ninth, paid in salt. 10th, volleyball match over the dividing fence. 11th, why not city? 12th, the twins. 13th, tomatoes are botanically a fruit. 14th, 3,000-year-old termite nation. 15th, white shark cafe. 16th, tiny golden lotus feet. 17th, sunken library. 18th, 1900-year-old tomb. 19th, 4 monkeys. 20th, Humpty Dumpty is an egg. 21st, Battle of Marathon 490 BC. 22nd, longest beard. 23rd, the creator of Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Laboratory, and Johnny Bravo. 24th, world's biggest family. 25th, Saw movie. 26th, dry park in the winter. 27th, AFI rainbow. 28th, sneeze 1 million times. 29th, trivia science. 5th, youngest person sentenced to death in the 20th century. In 2011, the IE engineers created the most advanced and intelligent android robot. When they asked, "Do you think robots will take over the world?" the robot replied, "Don't worry. I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo, where I can watch you for all time's sake." It was disassembled that very day, the robot, modeled after Philip K. Dick, the novelist whose work inspired Blade Runner. Scientists lit a cave of natural gas on the fire in 1971, expecting it to only burn for a few days. It still burns till this day, and has been nicknamed the door to hell. There is a diamond floating in our galaxy that is bigger than Earth. The sun is so loud that if space was filled with air, it would be 125 dB on Earth, 92 million miles away. The Oxford English Dictionary was mostly written by a murderer who cut off his own penis and spent a lot of his time in a mental institution. The Museum of Non-Visible Art is an organization that hosts and sells art that exists only in the imagination of the artist. A woman once paid $10,000 for a non-visible work of art. Fidgeting, such as tapping your feet or drumming your fingers, can burn up to 350 calories a day and is a common trait of lean, skinny individuals. There exists a waterfall in Antarctica that has a water source completely devoid of oxygen, containing a high amount of iron and sodium. When the water is finally exposed to air, as it flows out of the glacier, it rusts, coloring the water blood red, making it look like the glacier is bleeding. During Roman times, salt was worth its weight in gold, and soldiers were sometimes paid in salt, hence the word salary. After the town of Naco was split in two by Border Patrol, the residents of Naco, Arizona and Naco, Mexico started an annual tradition of having a volleyball match over the dividing fence. The city of Wynot, North Carolina has its name because as residents were arguing over a name for the city, some bloke stood up and said, "Why not name the town? Why not? And let's go home." And so they did. Igbora town, in Oyo State, Nigeria, and Kodinhi village, in Kerala, has the unusually large number of multiple births. In Kerala has got doctors baffled with a set of 220 twins, and this led to the world's first association of twins in the country called the Twins and Kins Association. Although tomatoes are botanically a fruit, the US Supreme Court ruled in 1893 that it is legally a vegetable. Researchers in Brazil discovered a 3,000-year-old termite nation as big as UK. To build it, the termites moved an amount of soil, equivalent to building 4,000 Great Pyramids of Giza. Great white sharks regularly meet up in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, in an area known as the White Shark Cafe. Tiny golden lotus feet, achieved through breaking girls' toes and arches and binding them to the sole of the foot with cloth, were thought to be a passport to a better marriage and a better way of life. Foot binding was a practice first carried out on young girls in Tang Dynasty China to restrict their normal growth and make their feet as small as possible. Considered an attractive quality, the effects of the process were painful and permanent. There is a sunken library, book burning memorial in Berlin, Germany. The library is built underground, is not accessible to the public, and can only be viewed through a glass plate that shows enough empty bookcases to hold 20,000 books, the amount burned in a book burning event on the 10th of May, 1993. 1900-year-old tomb, carved from a single rock, in Saudi Arabia. Most of us are familiar with the three monkeys. That means see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. But there is a fourth that symbolizes the principle of do no evil. They never once say, Humpty Dumpty is an egg in the poem. Corinthian helmet, from the Battle of Marathon 490 BC, found with the warrior's skull inside. The man with the longest beard in the world, 4.5 feet, tripped over it, broke his neck and died. The creator of Powerpuff Girls, the creator of Dexter's Laboratory, and the creator of Johnny Bravo were all roommates in college. The world's biggest family that lives together is in India, a man with 39 wives, 94 children, and 33 grandchildren. After just finishing film school, two students wanted to make a film, but could only afford one room. They challenged themselves to make a film that only occurred in one room, and later released it as Saw. There is a place in Austria that is a dry park in the winter, and a 10-meter deep crystal clear lake in the summer. A fire rainbow is one of the rarest of all naturally occurring atmospheric phenomena. It looks like a cloud made of rainbows. A British woman holds the world record for longest sneezing fit ever recorded. Donna Griffiths began sneezing on the 13th of January, 1981, and didn't stop until the 16th of September, 1983, 997th day. It's estimated she sneezed 1 million times in the first 365 days. Some roads in Australia are so long and boring, they have trivia signs to keep drivers alert. George Stinney Jr. was the youngest person sentenced to death in the 20th century in the United States. He was only 14 when he was executed by electric chair. During his trial, until the day of his execution, he always carried a Bible in his hands, claiming for innocence. He was accused of killing two white girls, Betty of 11 years old, and Mary of 7. The bodies were found near the house where the teenager resided with his parents. At that time all the jurors were white. The trial lasted only 2 hours, and the sentence was handed down 10 minutes later. The child's parents were threatened and prevented from giving him gifts in the courtroom and then expelling them from that city. Before the execution, George spent 81 days without being able to see his parents. He was trapped in a solitary cell 80 kilometers from his city. He was heard alone, without the presence of his parents or a lawyer. He was electrocuted with 5,380 volts in the head. 70 years later, his innocence was finally proven by a judge in South Carolina. The beam with which the two girls were killed weighed more than 19.07 kilograms. Therefore, it was impossible for Stinney to be able to lift it, let alone be able to hit hard enough to kill the two girls. The child was innocent. Someone put everything together to blame him just for being black. Stephen King was inspired by this case to write his book The Green Mile, which was taken to theaters in 1999.